Hey everyone, it's Mr. Hollywood, and today is day 8 of my posting streak goal of 200 days, and today I am reviewing Stand By Me, one of the most personal films of all time, just like The Godfather Part 3, which I did a whole review about that film yesterday, so I definitely highly recommend checking it out. But yeah, Stand By Me is one of the most personal films and one of the saddest films I've seen. So let's talk about it. So before I give you my thoughts on Stand By Me, feel free to share your thoughts on Stand By Me down below in the comments. And let's start by talking about it. Directed by the late Rob Reiner, which rest in peace, Rob Reiner. And Stand By Me is about a bunch of kids going on some adventure. And in that adventure, a lot happens, and this brings me to the first positive of the film. I mean, just the bromance between all the kids is just absolutely beautiful. All of them have great chemistry, and it does in some ways hit home because, I mean, I think a lot of people could relate being in friend groups where it feels like a brotherhood, and that very much so feels like the case with the characters in Stand By Me, where they feel like a brotherhood. And I mean, the casting is just great, especially River Phoenix, who, again, rest in peace, River Phoenix. He was wonderful, and he gave arguably my favorite child acting performance of all time. Yeah, he was incredible in Stand By Me, and I'll definitely talk about him more towards the end of this review. But the other actors also did a great job, especially I forget the actor's name, but the one who played Gordon or Gordy, he was great. Kiefer Sutherland was great, and also John Cusack, who was a character in flashbacks. I mean, he was amazing. I mean, John Cusack really shined a lot in the late 80s with this film, Say Anything, which was incredible, and 8 Men Out as Buck Weaver. And yeah, John Cusack, I mean, he was just great in all of those films. And yeah, in Stand By Me, he plays the deceased brother of the main character. And I mean, the film is just very sad, where, I mean, Gordy has this brotherhood with everyone. His biological brother died before the events of the film. And, I mean, just seeing all the raw emotion that the actor of Gordy brings to the character, I mean, it was just all very beautiful. Now, also, this entire film's message about just, I mean, the unexpected stuff happening, because, I mean, part of his message is brotherhood. I mean, it's kind of about moving, I mean, it's kind of just about the changes of life, which, given that I'm in a bit of a transitional phase in life, I mean, I'm not in 12th grade, I'm in 11th grade. However, the idea of not knowing really what's coming next, because a lot of these kids split off at the end, and you don't really know what's going to happen to them in the future, because it's like, while you do want to stay connected to your friends, you don't really know what's going to happen after they graduate high school. And that is part of the scary things of life. And it's kind of something I'm in a bit of a transitional phase with, because even though I'm only in 11th grade, which is still kind of getting towards that transitional phase, a lot of my best friends are actually seniors right now. And even though a lot of them are actually staying in state for college, I mean, just the idea of connections are really tested when you don't see them as much. And yeah, that's kind of part of the message of the film. And I mean, I just think the adventure aspects of this film was just beautiful. I thought the directing was great, and like, I really felt all the tension when you have an option between either taking the fast road for this mission to claim this dead body, but you could also get hit by a train and you also might have to run back, or you'll take the longer road, which is safer, but also takes more time. And obviously they're trying to collect a bounty. And I mean, sometimes it does bring up a question. I mean, I feel like it is normal to an extent in high school where sometimes you'll be put in a situation where it's like, do you want to take the risky but faster way to get to your desired mission, or do you want to take the safer way but much longer? Because sometimes desperation comes before logic, and I think that is kind of a question that this film does bring up. And yeah, like, just really the flashback scenes do really hit hard, because a lot of this film does also revolve around Gordon talking about his late brother, and also talking about how his parents didn't exactly treat him the best. And I mean, it's like, that is obviously something that is really sad to watch in the film. And it's like, one thing about this film, it's like not really taking time for granted, because he didn't really get to spend that much time with his brother. But yeah, like, really just spending time with all these kids. I mean, it does bring a bit of a sense of coziness and adventure, just seeing all these kids spend time together in the film. And I mean, I thought Stephen King excellently crafted this. And then I'll talk about the ending, because this film is actually very short, so like, there isn't that as much to say, as this film is pretty straightforward. But then let's really talk about the ending. I mean, yeah, so like I said, part of this film is kind of about the transitional phase. And I mean, that's kind of where it mostly is relatable. I mean, not really knowing what's going to come next, which is a big part of life. And also because even though a lot of my friends are actually going to stay in state next year for college, I'm probably not going to be staying in state next year for college. There's a very low chance I will. So, I mean, even though I'll definitely be trying to keep in touch with my friends over the next year, I mean, when you do move out of state, a lot could happen. So that is definitely something this film brings up. Let's honestly talk about the ending. So it was a bit of a montage after they all went home. And then, I mean, Gordon talks about how River Phoenix's character died in a bar fight, and how even though he had friends since then, he never had friends as good as Gordon. And one thing that's very relatable about that is that recently Rob Reiner died in a very unnatural way. I'll definitely leave it at that. And just the idea that even though we're good people and we want to try to do the right things, sometimes good intentions can unfortunately betray us a bit. That's kind of what happened with River Phoenix's character in this film. And also, one thing that does actually make this very sad is I watched this movie a month after Rob Reiner died. So I watched this movie not that long ago. And also, River Phoenix died young, not that long after this film came out. So it always just feels bittersweet watching this with River Phoenix, knowing how much potential he had, but he died young from, I believe it was an overdose. And it's just, this film really showed, I mean, a lot of future talent, but the fact that I think the most talented of them all never really got a full career after this, which is really sad. And honestly, the only other actor I do feel this type of emotion with whenever I watch a film with them nowadays And it's not like I never feel emotions with other actors. There's definitely a lot of actors I feel emotion with watching their films nowadays. But Heath Ledger, because similarly to River Phoenix, he had so much potential at a young age, specifically in 10 Things I Hate About You, and then, of course, later on he played the Joker. But both of them, despite the fact they already had amazing careers at a young age, both of them are big what ifs because they both died very young from overdoses, I believe. Well, I know for Heath Ledger it definitely was overdose. I believe it was also an overdose on River Phoenix's part. But yeah, it's just so sad watching this film at the end, knowing what really happened to River Phoenix and now Rob Reiner. So yeah, that's part of the reason why Stand By Me. I mean, it was a sad film 40 years ago. It's more sad watching it in 2026. And I did actually watch this. I mean, partially because I was getting very into Stephen King. I mean, Stephen King adaptations are amazing movies most of the time. But also because, not only because, not only because, I mean, I was a big fan of Stephen King adaptations is why I watched this. I did also watch this kind of because, I mean, after Rob Reiner died, I did want to watch one of his films. And, it just happened to be probably one of his most iconic films. Which, I mean, to be fair, I've wanted to watch this film for a while, but yeah, watching it after Rob Reiner's death definitely hit differently. And, I mean, I still feel very emotional talking about this film, because even though it's been a few months since I've seen it, I mean, it's a really sad film. So yeah, this film is an amazing movie. It's a great coming-of-age story. It's a great dramatic film. It's just an amazing movie. I would honestly give this film an A+. So yeah, Stand By Me is an amazing movie, and I highly recommend it. Now, thanks for watching. Feel free to share your thoughts on Stand By Me down below in the comments. I cannot wait to keep it on rolling. This is day 8 of my 200-day posting streak goal. Now, thanks for watching, and peace out.